Today, the Subcommittee on the Interior will examine the impact of Executive Order 13658 on public land guides and outfitters. The executive order mandates a $10.10 minimum hourly wage be paid by employers who contract with the federal government. The order was issued in February 2014, and the implementing rule was finalized by the Department of Labor in October 2014. I want to make it clear that we're not here today to debate the idea of raising the minimum wage in and of itself. That will be done by another committee at another time. But today, we're here to discuss the impact of how this order and its implementation will negatively impact seasonal rural businesses. The order will leave many locales in danger of losing small businesses that are providing outdoor and recreational services to the public. It's particularly damaging to rural economies that rely on tourism revenue. Wyoming had more than 10 million visitors who contributed more than $3 billion to the economy in 2014, according to the Wyoming Office of Tourism. From skiing to river rafting trips to trips on horseback, many of these visitors rely on private businesses that operate on federal lands. The federal government has promoted tourism as a replacement for logging and mineral development projects that have been strangled by regulation. So it's rather ironic that now the executive branch is working to regulate wilderness tourism out of business. These businesses provide young Americans an opportunity to obtain employment while also providing a valuable service to the visitors of these taxpayer-owned lands. The rule unnecessarily burdens seasonal operators and small businesses using permits to enhance the use of our outdoors. The Forest Service submitted comments upon the proposed rule, stating that these seasonal guides and outfitters operating under permit are not federal contractors, and as a result should be exempt. As a federal agency very familiar with guides and outfitters using the land under its jurisdiction, the Forest Service recognizes the unique nature of these businesses. It's unfortunate that the Department of Labor chose to disregard them. As Americans, we're fortunate to live in a nation with diverse and beautiful landscapes. These landscapes provide families and individuals affordable quality recreation opportunities. Public land guides and outfitters deliver a service that allows for an in-depth enjoyment of these activities. This executive order unnecessarily endangers the economic existence of this industry and diminishes the enjoyment of our public lands by Americans nationwide. Representative Chris Stewart of Utah has introduced H.R. 2215, the Outdoor Recreation Enhancement Act. This legislation seeks to maintain the current level of tourism on public lands. Today we will hear from Congressman Stewart about his legislation to address these concerns and protect rural jobs. We will then hear from representatives of the outfitter and guide community to discuss how their businesses operate and the effects this rule will have on them. We will also hear from a representative of the Department of Labor, Wage and Hour Division regarding the implementation of the President's executive order and the rule to enforce its provisions across the federal government. What we have here is something that, unfortunately, we see time and again, especially in the West, the federal government in Washington forcing a one-size-fits-all directive on the American people. I sincerely hope that the Department of Labor listens closely to the representatives that we have here and recognizes that this situation as presently drawn up is not workable. I sincerely hope that we can take a common sense approach to this issue and do the right thing. With that, I'd like to thank our witnesses in advance for their testimony. I now recognize